Hi there, my name is Toby, and I have spent many years training in traditional Shaolin Kung Fu and also Tai Chi, but what I'm doing now is slightly different. It's not so much about any individual style of movement, but this is about internal body structure and an internal body flow, a feeling inside your body. And you can think of Shaolin as a metaphor for powerful body structures. And this is what I'm doing here first of all. This is Shaolin style. It is not, of course, any exact Shaolin style, but these movements are spontaneous. This is just freestyle. But you can see movements and structures that are reminiscent of traditional Shaolin Kung Fu. And I'll do the same when it comes to Tai Chi in a minute here. And Tai Chi you can think of as a metaphor for freedom of movement, fluidity and flow in the body. And we'll come to that in a minute. Now these are the two things that I'm really working on. I'm working on body structure, alignment of my skeleton, and I've got to do this internally, spontaneously, in any different type of movement that I do. I've got to find the correct bone structure and the feeling of the stretch throughout my body when I do this, and a feeling of an alignment. I'm connecting my bone structure to the floor and feeling that force through my bone structure out to the hands. And now here I'm moving on to Tai Chi. So this is fluidity and flow. So here, this is not so much about an individual structure, but about a movement. I'm trying to feel a continuous movement in my body. And Tai Chi is very much moving in circles, and they talk about holding a ball of energy and moving a ball of energy. And here I'm feeling that I'm moving a ball of energy inside my belly, as well as outside through my whole body and between my hands. And if you watch carefully, you can sort of imagine a big ball, a small ball of energy moving around as I'm moving my hands and moving my body. But of course this is not any exact Tai Chi style. It's just a feeling and a flow through my whole body structure. And you can think of this again as two things. When you do large, strong body structures, there's tension. This is more about tension holding the structure. And when you do this body flow, fluidity, this is more about relaxation. Feeling a relaxation through the body, a flow of movement through the body, but very little tension, as little tension as possible. So now let's come back again to the structures. Here's Shaolin again in slow motion. So look carefully at the structures and the bone structure. You see, I've got to hold a connection between the hips down to the legs to the feet, up through the spine and into the arms. Now, the thing that is different, this is important, what I'm doing now that is different to these two traditional styles is I'm holding my body structure in a particular way. I'm holding my body structure a bit more like a dancer. So again, traditional martial artists and fighters might look at this and not think what I'm doing is any good, but I did used to do Shaolin and fighting in the way that they recognize it. What I'm doing now is in a way that they might not recognize. It's slightly different. I'm doing this more with a dancer's body structure. And you might think, well, that's no good for fighting, but I've discovered it's actually better. It's better for fighting because a dancer is holding a better spine. They hold the rib cage and the shoulders up and back. And in dancing, this is called holding up the frame. So this will look, people will think I'm doing this more like a dancer. It's not real power because you think power involves crunching down and hunching up a little bit. It's not quite the case. It requires a bit more courage to hold yourself up nice and tall because you feel a bit more vulnerable if you have to fight, but the position is far more efficient for movement and power in the body. So you have to have a bit of courage here. You can see my spine is still nice and straight, nice and tall, but my shoulders are up and back. So I have never compromised my spinal position no matter what I'm doing. I'm always trying to hold a neutral spine, and if I'm changing that neutral spine, I'm doing it very, very carefully and then always trying to spring back to the neutral spine. So the neutral spine is a nice upright spine in an S-curve. The shoulders have got to be pulled up and back. The rib cage is open a bit, but you've got to pull the belly in. The belly's got to be tight. The obliques have got to be tight because you need a tension through the spine. There's got to be a dynamic tension between the front and back of the spine, i.e. I'm trying to arch backwards and also pull myself forward, hunch forward by pulling the belly in. So I don't hunch forward and I don't arch too far backwards. I'm holding a dynamic tension between arching backwards and pulling the the belly in that pulls me a bit forward. And I've got to hold the shoulders up and back. And now we're on to the movement of Tai Chi. So even within this fluid, soft movement, this continuous flow, you can see I'm still trying to hold that basic body structure and move very carefully around that structure. But I'm feeling inside a flow, a fluidity. I've got to link all the bones together like a snake. See, everything is connected. My whole arms and legs and spine all linked together like one big snake. Well, of course, I've got 5 snakes, 2 arms, 2 legs, and a spine. Each one is like a snake, but they're all separate snakes connected together into one big snake. And this creates a fluidity of flow, and this allows you to create waves, ripples, and whips through the body, which is very, very powerful for martial arts. And again, don't get confused. This by itself is not martial arts. This is just freedom of movement, body structure, and body flow. There's no particular application to this. I'm just practicing this as a thing all by itself. If I can gain a control of my body structure and I can gain a control of this flow, this feeling of relaxation, then this is very, very helpful in martial arts, in fighting. Your fight will become smoother, it will become faster, become more powerful, but less effort, less and less effort involved. And this is what I'm working on. But by itself, remember, this is not fighting. This is a particular practice all by itself, which I'm working on this channel, body efficiency training. I'm trying to find the most efficient body structures, trying to align my bones together in just the right way for whatever task or whatever martial arts I'm trying to do. But you see, I've got to move between those structures evenly and fluidly. So that's where I've got to practice this relaxed body flow, this movement through my body. And you can all try this. You can practice just playing around, holding strong, good structures in the body, and then relaxing and flowing, doing whatever movements come to you, trying to move relaxed and flow. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this little video. It made sense. Look forward to seeing you in one of these next videos.